Cordoba, creator of the Leicester equaliser. El Khanous, how much room does he have here? El Khanous going for goal, and he finds it as well. What a turnaround here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
4 minutes, Leicester have soaked up so much pressure. Fatawi jinking feet to get beyond his man, and the header from Jamie Vardy makes it 2.
Wood should score. Wood Knockout. Yes! Yes! Anthony Knockout has done it.
Tielemans lining one up. What a goal! What a brilliant goal by Yuri Tielemans! And the Leicester City fans go absolutely potty.
Ball in behind Damian Vardy. It's 11. It's heaven for Jamie Vardy. Hold the back page. Hold the front page. A Leicester player has smashed the record.
Good evening and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses. It is time for the live fans call-in show. Of course it is. It's Monday night. That's the call-in show time. Big shout out to everybody already waiting in the live chat. Make sure to get your comments in. More importantly, if you fancy coming and having a chat with Doc and I, then please click this link. We've already got a couple of people waiting. Doc, how are you doing today, mate?
I'm doing good. The weather is lovely in Denmark. It was 18 degrees today. It'll be up towards 22 degrees where I live over the week. So despite studies and the exam period starting to hit hard, at least the weather is lovely.
Yeah, nice one. It's definitely looking bright at the moment. There's, unlike Leicester's future, there's like I said, lots of comments coming in already. So much appreciated to you guys. Evening to you, Clibbo. Do we need to have this conversation again? You're in the live chat, but you're not in the studio. Come on, man. Click into the link and come and have your say. The title of the video today is Who Should Stay or Go? If you want to talk about that, please do. Please come and let us know who you would like to see Leicester City try and keep hold of this summer. Maybe you would try and force out the door. But if you want to talk about something else, something random, then you can do that as well. Hello to you, Craig. Hello to you, Kunal. Evening all, better sell fast before the bozo gene spreads further. Give them the bozo gene and then sell them. Let them take the bozo gene somewhere else. Fast Vestergaard, Winks must go. Toxic. We'll talk about it, of course, in Clibbo's away. Okay, mate. No worries. I'll let you off. Russell Martin. God, fucking hell. Right.
It's not bad, Russell Martin. That's a whole different conversation. But I mean, it's not one that sparks enthusiasm. But I think it's more one of the safer appointments we could possibly make. No.
Safer, really? I mean, he came fourth with Southampton.
Be wary of how I phrase that word. Safer, not safe, but safer appointments that, should keep us within the promotion spots. Now, maybe not top 2, but at the very least a playoff battle. But that's a whole different conversation. I definitely think there are many, many better candidates out there, but it's not one that would make me lose all faith. Let me just put it like that.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I know who you want. The people normally ask, so I will tell people in the chat. Today's tipple is a little bit of Corona.
I'm drinking a cup of coffee.
Oh, nice. No milk, obviously. You don't
milk in my coffee, of course, but I just don't drink tea. Actually, I had a cup of tea over the weekend, but there was no milk in that.
Okay. Piss poor, mate. When you come over next, you're having a tea with milk. Right. Yeah, okay, let's get into it. The first caller of the day is Ragsy. So we're going to get Ragsy in.
I've missed speaking with Ragsy, man. It's been a while.
Well, to those waiting in the background, I'll put a list in there so you know what order it's going to be. But yeah, here is Ragsy. How you doing, mate?
How we doing, boys? Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has. How you doing, Ragsy? You good? How's the weather over there? Is it nice?
Say that again.
How's the weather, man? How's things?
It's pretty good. I'm hearing it's going to be glorious this week. So yeah, I can't wait. I've got a few days off work.
Nice.
Must have been prepped. So yeah, that'll be nice and stuff. But yeah, I don't think I've caught up with you ever since Jamie's announcement. And with Wolves and with Liverpool and stuff like that. So on Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. Sorry. I'm not going to lie, lads. I broke down. I was devastated, with the news. I was kind of surprised, but also not really at the same time. And I think it's the right time for him to go, and I'm happy he's sort of announced on his terms. Maybe the club haven't really sort of like pushed, like they haven't really sort of like offered anything in the future, knowing like, you know, our state financially heading into the championship. But yeah, it's what a legend. And yeah, he is, like, just very quickly, he is the greatest Leicester player I think we're ever going to see. And there's nothing more to say. And the last couple of years, it doesn't really taint his legacy, in my opinion. It's just testament to his time.
It's a blip, right? It's a blip on all the success he had compared to all of that, and all the good times, right? I think 142 Premier League goals for Leicester City when you got your Premier League debut at 27. Incredible. And I think that heads on towards the topic pretty well, right, Rexy? Because Jamie Vardy will obviously be leaving heading into the championship season. Seems to be, with the rumors I've seen, looks to be like a clear out sale. Anyone has got a price tag, it feels like. And I mean, you're a man of strong opinions. Who's the one you want to see go most? Like, top of your list? Maybe if we do the big ones, like about fast Vestergaard. Maybe do you have like someone that you think that everyone wants to see go? A bit of a controversial opinion, maybe.
Well, Christensen first. No, I'm kidding. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think I thought when we did that keep or sell, like it was like over a month ago or something, and I'm thinking, okay, you've got a basis of the first team, and I know we're getting rid of a lot, but at least like I think there'll be some professionals that you could look at that could turn around, like with a Winks, for example, and like. I remember like Gary Neville sort of coming on afterwards. I think it was after the Liverpool game. And he was sort of like alluded to the fact of with players and like being outside of their city and not really sort of like coming into camp and stuff. And he sort of massively disagreed with that because it's so hard to like build a whole group dynamic. And like you're getting paid like nearly like 100 grand a week. Like, it's not really like a heavy compromise to move away from London closer to us, especially when, buy like a really nice house here and settle and have your family here. If you wanted to be in London so badly, then go to a London club. So I think those on principles and stuff, well, I know we stand the Rude a lot, but I think he's spot on there. And I think those are the sort of set fundamentals and I really need to be like penciled into this football club. And people saying like, oh, he could do well in the championship. But I'm like, not with that attitude. If he's like packing it in now with Cooper this season and he was crying like a bitch when like Enzo left and like is pining for him back. And I'm like, the second time round in the championship, I don't think this guy's going to be.
We're talking about Harry Wanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, there's so many names flying around in chat. Let me ask you about this one, Ragsy. I'll ask you first, Doc, because this has been the one that's been in the not so reliable news today, and that is Samare, 10 million euros, the figure being spoken about. Look, my worry, Doc, was that we were going to come into the summer and we were going to just get loan offers all summer long. Like we did last time. Like VK went out on a loan with option to buy that never got activated because the Italian clubs never do. Samari went on loan to Sevilla, of course. 10 million euros for Buba Samari. Yes, it's obviously like I don't know what the hit is. 20 million? Was he 30 million, Samari? Or
he was 25, I believe.
So a 50 million hit. But I would much rather just get that deal done and dusted, say goodbye, and that's it. Because worried that we're going to have more loans and loan offers this summer.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, right? If we really want to do the clear out, we need to end the relationship there. There's no reason to leave the door open for potential comeback if we get promoted and all of a sudden we're good enough for Sumari to be here again. I think Sumari is a player who's improved over the season, but just like every other season, right? His consistency issues seem to continually plague him, despite us all knowing that when he's at his best, there's definitely a player in there. I'm fine for setting him to 10 million. I'd like 15, but remember, his contract runs out after the first championship season. So we need to get him off the books this year if we want to recoup some of our investments. So 10 million euros for the season he's had with maybe, you can see the ceiling, but you can see the glaring flaws as well. So I think that would be a fine price. I do remember, though, checking a Leicester thread about it today on Twitter from, I believe, Fuss Up. And within 2 comments, someone was saying it was way too cheap. And the other was saying we'd be lucky if anyone was willing to pay 10 million for him. So, I mean, people are definitely split on what the valuation of our players should be. But I'm more of the belief that I'd rather take a bit of a cut price, but just get them out the door if we don't see them here in the future.
What do you think to that deal in particular that's been spoken about today, Ragsy? Because it's a weird one, isn't it? With Samare, you know, it's been mostly bad, big flop. And remember, we signed him when we were still having aims of Champions League. Basically, you know, we were definitely Europe, and he's been far too inconsistent. Some would call him lazy. Some would say he's just not up to the Premier League, whatever you want to call it. But now it's time, isn't it, Ragsy? It's just get him gone, wave goodbye, and end that chapter.
Yeah, absolutely. I think his time's done here, like without a shadow of a doubt. I think he's mentally checked out, and I think like we're not really sort of seeing to him as any sort of like long-term sort of pin in this team or whatever squad in the Championship, Premier League, whatever you want to call it. It's more the wages. He's on like, you know, he'll be on like 80, 90k, like in the Premier League. That could get cut if we go to the Championship and we have him for 1 more year. But for the sake of the finances, I'm just like, take the 10 million. Like it's not really like a big deal anymore. I'd rather just cut our losses, move on, recoup as much as we can for the shit squad that we have, and just start again. And I think, you know, it just needs to, I think it's a really good way to sort of like, it's the best possible way for this squad. You just want everybody's up for sale, like, you know, and you look at certain characters, maybe like a Ricardo or a Fatui or a Hermansen, and you go like, okay, only if the price is right and it's an offer that's too good to turn down, because you still believe in these sort of characters and these qualities, and they still would be 100% committed to the cause, that you would be like, okay, you know what, not for any price and stuff. But at this point, anybody's up for sale, and I'd rather just like set that precedent for the rest of the squads and being like, you know, just say to all of them, like, just consider your futures elsewhere.
Yeah, I think that's the right mindset, right? When we made the keyboard sale, I was definitely leaning towards keeping more players, but I'm at that point where, like, I think maybe 4, potentially 5 players I have on my list currently that I'd like to see us keep, and many of them unrealistic, right? Hermansen, of course, we'd like to keep him. We won't be able to. Bilal Kanoush, like to keep him. We likely won't be able to. Fatawu, I think we got a realistic shot of keeping. He's been injured and will likely be injured for the first month of the season, potentially. And then you've got Ricardo in there, who he's got 1 year left on the contract, should be the club captain next season, in my opinion, when Vardy leaves. And then you could say Mavididi, because we know how good he is in the Championship. And I don't think the money we can get for him is easily replaced in another player like him. And then obviously all the youth kids, I obviously want to see us keep. Monger, if possible, with Alves. But that, you know, that kind of says itself, right?
Yeah, 100%. Ragsy, mate, look, thanks for clicking in. Much appreciated. We'll see you very soon as well, I'm sure, mate. Lots of
pleasure,
Nice seeing you, Ragsy, man. Good to see you again.
Yeah.
See you, lads.
Lots of exciting stuff to talk about coming up soon, Ragsy. Transfers and new managers. And stuff
yeah,
like
great.
Championship. Wrexham away. Right, cheers, Ragsy. See you soon, mate. Bye-bye. Okay. Brilliant. Let's have a look at a couple of comments before Joe comes in. Move on around 4 players and we could save 20 million a year in wages. So remember, we've already saved 6 million in Vardy's wages, Doc.
That's an insane amount out of 100 million in wages, right? And I mean, what if you take some of the big guns? If we could unload Cody, pray to God we are able to unload Cody. That would be a big chunk. Harry Winks, I'm open to selling as well. And then, I mean, many of the players that we don't really know. Buba Samari was reported to be in there as well. But again, if only Susan Whelan would come to my house and just open the financial book so I could see every little penny. Steady. Yeah, that sounds wrong. But every little penny spent on wages and everything. I'd love to get the deep look inside. And none of these he's reported to be. I want to see the facts. I want to see how much money someone like Buba Samari is on, because then it would be easy, in my opinion, just to go through this and say, good, you're not good enough, cut. Especially because many of them are good enough for the Championship. But on those wages, no way.
Well, allegedly, Samare was on £8,000 a week in France, and we gave him 80. That's the rumor.
Oh
so.
yeah, fair. 80K a week, bro. That's. I mean, we did sign him in the summer when we had the ambition of Champions League. Yeah, we signed him in what has come to be the disaster window, the window of ambition, you would call it, where we didn't sell a key asset and invested in the big potential. Sumare, Daka, Vestergaard, and was it the Ryan Bertrand summer as well? It probably also wasn't a free. And how many of those players have turned out well, huh?
Yeah, nightmare. Right, here is Joe. Let's get him in. Yeah, this is right, by the way. Apparently we 10x'd Daka and Sumare's wages. Okay, Joe, what's going on, mate? How you doing today?
Not great, mate. This week has been what's the opposite of if Colesberg did Sundays? Do you know what I mean? It was just
Carlin. If Carlin did it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this weekend and this week in general, losing Vardy like we've done. I say losing Vardy. I mean, obviously his farewell tour, air quotes, to boost the numbers up. And then we deliver a performance like you couldn't write it. Obviously, Vardy missing a penalty. I almost laughed when that was happening. Just going on from what you said to your last caller, we just need to gut this squad. I mean, I don't know whether you could see me in the background there, Locks, but when you said about the reported wages that Samori was on and what we gave him, that just shows you everything wrong with the club, what they've done leading up to this. I mean, unbelievable, ridiculous. Half this squad needs to go. I agree with Doug and yourself in terms of just get rid. Who doesn't want to be here? Then get rid of them. We need to rebuild in the Championship. And I've said all week, I've said all season really, I'm not sure whether I want us to get promoted back first try next year, purely because this year has just been soul-sucking. It has been soul-sucking. And just to make you guys laugh a little bit, I'm a wheelchair user, so I can't walk. I honestly say this on a weekly basis. I genuinely feel like I could play better in that midfield than some of those players. Genuinely. And I mean that. Watching this performance, not being able to play a 5-yard pass, kicking the ball out of play, it's been disgusting. I'm usually a very level-headed fan, but I'm after this week, I'm done. Do you know what I mean? My emotions are gone, and I'm just like, I know we're relegated, but just give us something. Give us something to be happy about. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And they just haven't. Both the manager, the players, don't even get me started on the board. That's another rant. But yeah, I'm just the reason I've come on tonight is because just I feel anger. Do you know what I mean? I know it should have probably come sooner, but I actually feel anger because I care about this club so much. And I just feel like there's players, there's staff members who just don't give a shit. Excuse my language, but it's plain to see.
Well, Chris agrees with you here from LTID TV. He said, "Go, all of them." Let's face it. I mean, there's, I'm pretty sure, a lot of people feel the same way. Daka, Joe, would you want to get rid of him too? Because he's also been linked with the move away in the last 24 hours or so. That would leave with 0 strikers at the club next season.
You know what? I think, to be honest, I wouldn't say I was ever a Daka supporter, but I was never kind of on the hate bandwagon. And then we played Leeds in the Championship, and we should have toured them a new one, and he just kept missing.
That game.
Yeah, kept missing, and I was literally sitting there watching it with my mate, who's also a Leicester fan. I was like, "How are we not winning this game?" And I'll tell you how we didn't win that game is because of Daka, and he's done next to F all in this season. He runs around, puts effort in, but he's just not at the level. And I don't even think he's Championship level because he didn't even get 10 goals last season.
I mean, he
did quite a bit.
Yeah, he was started for a long period of time, but Vardy struggling a lot with injuries last season. These small knuckles on him, so he had to be out for a week, and then I could only play 30 minutes. So Daka started a lot of games, and I mean, I think he's fine for the Championship. But the big thing, especially about the finances, we need to remember is we can't be paying a player who's decent in the Championship to get 7 or 8 goals, 80K a week. I mean, that will never work out, right? If he was on 10K a week, fine enough. Keep him for the last year of his contract, and he could play as the backup striker. But for that amount of money, if you're not our starting striker who can score 20 goals in the championship, we can't afford to be paying you those wages then.
Yeah, Daka last season, Joe, to answer your question, I've just got it here. Daka played 20... Wait, let me find it. I've lost it now. Here we go. 20 games and scored 7 goals. Patson Daka did for us last season. And, you know, he at one point, Enzo did favour him over Vardy at one point. But then Vardy came in, scored loads and finished on, 17 or something, 16 goals, something like that. Yeah. So, like what I said about Samare, Joe, it's just time to say goodbye, close the chapter, and stop hoping for them to turn it around, because it's just not going to happen now.
Exactly. Well, they've had plenty of chances, haven't they? You know, you talk about turning it around. They'd have to do a complete 180, and that times, they've had that time to do that. Just on the Daka Vardy point that you just made about them swapping, I think it's purely because Daka, if you remember when he first came in, was dropping deep, which obviously Enzo liked, and then Vardy started doing that and got that into his game, as well as scoring more goals, which Vardy's always going to do over Daka. But no, just going back to what you were saying, the players that you've mentioned, Samare, Daka, they've had the chances. We know they're not good enough. Anyone can see it, and if you're talking about a rebuild and say spending 2 years in the Championship, you need to come up with ambition and an actual chance of staying up. Now, I know the gap of the Premier League and the Championship is massive now, but it's quite clear that the squad that we've got of the current players are not good enough. They are not good enough. I even look at someone like El Khanous, who I do think is one of our better players. Do I think that he could push on? I know he's young, but it just worries me that El Khanous is someone we're looking at as one of our talisman, and I don't even think he's had that good a season. It's just he's had a better season than a crap bunch of players. Does that make sense? So that is the worrying. That is the worrying sign for me, that we haven't really got anybody. And then you've got a goalkeeper who predominantly is going to be tested, because we are giving an enormous amount of shots away. So, of course, he looks good because he's having to be called into action. So it's all of that, all of those things that you can look at and go, are these players actually as good as we're trying to market them as? And I don't think they are. It's just we are so poor that anybody half decent would look great.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, shortly on that, I do think maybe the one exception to me personally is Hermansen, because, I mean, you can definitely feel like, even if, of course, he has the chance to look incredible with 14 saves against Arsenal, but a poor keeper would have made this season way more of an embarrassment than it turned out to be. But I do agree, we've been holding on to these glimmers of hopes, right? Like the Bilal Khanous, because you know there is potential there, but he's not there quite yet, right? It's because he gives you a bit of hope and ambition to dream of what he could be in maybe a few years' time.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Just one more point to make on what you just said in terms of the goalkeeper. I don't think he's been the same since he's come back from his injury.
Yeah, not quite the same, yeah. I agree.
So that's made it different.
True. He's not been the same 10 out of 10. I think he's still been one of our better players, the Cole Palmer penalty save and such, but he was a top 3 Prem keeper at the beginning of the season, in my opinion. He was unbeatable many of those games, really keeping us in it while we had Cooper in charge.
No, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I wish he was putting in better performances at the moment, because then we might actually get a bit more money for him in the summer. But hey ho, that's it is what it is. Joe, thank you for calling, mate. Much appreciated. Hopefully we'll see you again soon, mate. All right. Cheers, Joe. Cheers. Okay. Silly question, Costa, of course. It's out. Not a chance in hell. Somebody says Mads has given up. I suppose it's hard to tell with a goalkeeper. You can tell with outfield players because maybe they just don't run as much. Maybe they pull out of tackles, things like that. But with a goalkeeper, you can't really tell what their mindset is. He does seem to me like a proper professional. And to be honest with you, Doc, I think Mads is probably just drained. He's having to come out onto that pitch with those defenders every single week, knowing he's going to ship 1, 2, 3 goals. It must be hard.
I think he's trying his hardest. He's a model professional, in my opinion. Everything I've seen, the way he's talked about the club, even in like obviously the Danish media, the rumors are circulating. What top club is he going to go to? Because everyone currently believes he will be the next Danish number one. I believe that too. I believe his performances have done enough to be the obvious candidate to take over after Schmeichel. And he's refusing to comment on it. He's happy to be at Leicester. He's a Leicester player for now. And obviously, he's always said he'll take the next step when it's right. And I think it's now, because another season of the Championship won't do him much good. But I think
he definitely won't stay.
Yeah, he'll leave respectfully. And he's someone who I kind of want him to leave, because the money we can get for him, what he can go on and have for a career, and then because we already know we have a top-tier Championship goalkeeper on the bench from our own academy who's ready to step in. Stalacic, I thought he grew into the role over his Premier League games and ended up having a really good game in his final one against Tottenham, our final win as well, rather, as we're speaking here. And I think for the Championship, I'm very excited to see him get a go. And that's one of the things that can help me reconnect with the club, is seeing the local lads actually making a difference.
Yeah, Doc just wants him to leave so he can get a Man City goalkeeper's kit next season.
Fuck off, mate. I would never do that, man. I won't make my way to Manchester. It's a shithole.
Manchester's not bad. Leicester's worse, trust me.
Leicester's better, man.
Leicester's worse. Leicester's a lot worse. Okay, Ross is always somewhere. Aldi, Iceland, a bus stop, on a bus.
Where do we think he is this time?
Well, I know where he is. I know where he is. Okay. Put in the group. Put in the live chat where you think Ross is today. I know this place very, very well. I can see his backdrop. Hello, Ross. What's going on, mate?
What's going on? Good evening. I've literally just, do you know what? In the time I've been watching your show, I'm 95 quid down. So
let's show everybody the building so people know.
The building, right? Give me a sec.
Wait, is there? If there's no wording on it, don't tell.
No,
them.
there is wording. One sec.
Okay.
Hello.
There we
go. Okay. I thought maybe
Ross,
Nando's or something, but I was mistaken.
Ross, have you had a chicken burger, a hot dog, a pizza?
No, I thought I'd be good. No, I thought I'd be good and not get one.
Okay.
I've got to take the trolley back. Apparently, that was my best friend.
Talk to us, mate. Who's on the top of your list to get rid of this summer?
Get rid of, right? How long you got? Right. So, we'll start off with the worst goalkeeper in history, the way he's stealing Danny Ward.
I thought you were going to say someone different for a moment. I thought surely not.
Oh no! I love Mads.
Okay, good.
I love him. I'm not saying that because you're Danish, but I'm just saying he's beautiful.
Danish?
You know,
did you just
Danish?
say
Danish? Danish. Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, love. Well, so Victor Christensen, bag of shit. Sorry, love. But
testing the waters here, Ross. Testing the waters. Come on.
Awful. Right. What else we got? Get rid of.
You're at the Costco and not in Denmark, mate.
Get rid of Sideshow Bob. Awful. Yeah. He's been with us 3 seasons, and if something's happened every season. First season, relegated. Second season, promotion. Third season, relegated. Awful. Absolutely awful. Connor Cody, go back to Wolves if you want, love.
Have you seen Connor Cody these last day or two twerking for Wolves on Instagram? I mean just read the room, man. Read the room.
Right, right. Read the room. I can understand it from it. Right, there's 2 sides to it. Right, the trolley's gone now, so it's all right. Right, there's 2 sides to it. It was there for years, done whatever. I get it, but at the same time, don't go crazy and oh my god, I love this song, whatever. You literally just say thanks for the support. That's it. Just like Dewsbury Hall did, just like Harvey Barnes did.
It's about the situation, right? I think on me, I feel very strongly about this because I don't mind it if we were staying up and everything was fine. You can very much express how happy you were for your time there. But we're going down. You're supposed to be one of our leaders. You've done fuck all season. I'm fine if you clap back to them when they sing your name or whatever. And as Ross says, thanks for the support. That was nice. But all of this, he's basically taking his dick down, saying, "Please come." He's basically doing everything here. It was so lovely. I can't. Come on, mate.
And honestly, it gets on my titties. I tell you.
Exactly.
He's got more podcast appearances than clean sheets this season.
Yeah, absolutely. What else is that? Oh, they left me. Oh, I thought they left me then. No, they have.
What about Bouba Samari, who's been in the news
Yeah,
today, mate?
I mean, he had a few good games. I mean, against Ipswich, where obviously Jordan Ayew scored the goal. I was there. Man United game in the League Cup, because remember we played him about 50 times this season, so the League Cup one. Yeah, get rid of him, or he wants to leave anyway. It's in a bit. Who else is who's on the list that I want to go? See, Justin's a tough one, not because he's bad. I think he's never been the same since his injury. I think his time is to move on. My opinion. Oh, there they are.
I mean, I'd be able to keep him. I think for what he can offer, both on the left and the right in the Championship, he's definitely capable. But we'll need someone more potentially to push us on if we get back to the Premier League.
So where else? We're on midfielders now. Harry Winks. Yeah, I think. Listen, congratulations on having a kid and all. But
you're not allowed to say Harry Winks on this channel. It's Harry Wanks. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Come on, let us say his name.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, but basically, I just think him and Packet of Oliver Skips are a bag of crap. I think. Yes, I'd like a list, please. So I'm just getting it car. Who else?
Getting good car.
I'm going to car. So who else we need to get? A Daka. That's another one. His masterclass goal against Rotherham last season. That's probably memorable. Sorry, Tom. I got a Rotherham fan next to me. I do apologise for that one. Get him on. So, what else we got? Daniel Leverson's a tough one because he's a good.
He's out of contract. So
he's a good lad and all, but obviously we've got Stellarik because let's be honest, Hermansen's going to be going. Let's get real. You know, as long as Kasper Schmeichel is breathing, he will never be Danish number one. Let's be honest, because Kasper Schmeichel is 38, same age as Vardy, and he's getting better. He just gets better and better. That guy. So,
Ross, just give me 1 second. I'm looking on the screen here. I thought you looked familiar, mate. I thought you looked familiar.
The Terminator. I appreciate that one. Thank you.
I was going to say, anyone in particular, have you got any controversial ones that you want to stay? Because at the moment, everyone's saying, get him gone about pretty much everyone. Is there anyone in particular that you want to stay?
We've had a bit of fun. The glasses have come off. Let's get serious. So, who do I want to keep? Obviously, some of the academies. I mean, Sammy Bravebrook. I think Casey McAteer should stay. Fatawu, I think, should stay. Obviously, bless him, he's been injured. Stupid international break. Mavididi, I don't know. This is a tough one because part of me wants to say, keep him, but then part of me says I think we should move him on because then Jeremy Monga can step up, Casey McAteer can step up again in the Championship. Will Alves keep 100%. Love that man. Ben Nelson keep. Love that man. Chowdhury.
Will be important next season.
Chowdhury keep. I'm still pissed that he's at Sheffield United. Do you not think they'll because they've got an option to buy, mate? I think so. They might want to keep him. If they get promoted, if he goes, he goes. It's Premier League, isn't it? You're not going to turn it down. But to keep, I think we should keep Luke Thomas. In my opinion, I think despite how bad we've been, I think when he does play, he plays better. I'm not saying the best, but better than a lot of the players that are on there. Vestergaard, I loved him last season. This season, he can go man and his dog. He can go, he can go out, but don't think he will.
Ross, because you're on the move, mate. The signal's dropping, so I'm going to let you go. All right, I'm going to let you go. It's
Ross,
lagging a little bit more. Thanks for coming in, Ross. Oh, there's
the JV9 tour dates. The tour dates.
There we go.
The JV9 tour dates.
He's got less dates remaining than Cena has, hasn't he? John Cena. John Cena's got a lot more than
all I'm going to say this, he's the John Cena of football.
Yeah, there we go. You can't see me and all that. Right. Cheers, Ross. See you soon, mate. All right, we'll speak to you soon. Thank you, Ross. What do you make to that one, what Ross said, Doc, about Mavididi? Maybe let him go so that we can bring through some of the younger ones. I mean, Monga, Evans, I know they're primarily off the right, but yeah.
I think Mavididi is just someone who we know can be so good in the Championship. He was one of our best players last season, in my opinion. And I think he's even shown he can do it in the Premier League for glimpses. But I do agree with the overall point that we need to make room for youngsters. That's why we definitely need to sell more than we need to buy. Because, for example, I mean, for the goalkeeper post, we have someone ready to step up. I think for the wingers, I want us to trim the wingers a bit. So we have the squad depth there from Will Alves and your Jeremy Mongus and whoever else will be coming through the academy. Jake Evans will be getting minutes too, right? So all of these have a space and a squad role to play, but I don't want us to be counting on them immediately to do all the heavy lifting, right? We can't be expecting them to walk right in and say, we've sold all the big players. It's you now. It's only you. I want it to be. You have, a Fatawu who we all love so much, and a Mavadidi maybe who we know can do it in the championship ahead of you, but you'll be getting your 30 minutes. You'll be getting a game here and there, and you'll be switching roles with them. And if they get injured, we count on you to step up, and you can learn from them as well. And yeah, the thing is, I want to put some pressure on them to step up, but I don't want to throw them out to the wolves and just let them be devoured by the pressure.
Absolutely right. Up next, what is going on tonight with the Terminators? I don't know what's going on. We've got Ryan. Hello, mate. What's going on?
Hello. How's you guys?
We're doing good,
Ryan.
Doing good. How are you,
man? Same old, isn't it?
Yeah. Not much to smile about as a Leicester fan, except for the weather currently.
Yeah, it's just the weather, isn't it, that is cheering me up at the moment. Yeah, another game, another loss, again no goals. I mean, it's just a running theme every single week, really, now, isn't it? It's just boring us to death.
Yeah. I mean, that last one couldn't have gone any worse, could it, mate? Because yes, we lost, we didn't score, and Jamie Vardy missed a penalty as part of his farewell tour. I mean, an absolute nightmare. Rock bottom, I would go as far as saying, for this season, that game.
Yeah, it's just that game just summed everything up. So, yeah. It's just what bottom. I just don't see what direction we're going on. Well, there is one direction, and that's backwards, really. The one thing that I think needs to change at the football club is the structure. That is a clear thing that needs to change. It's not just about what is going on the pitch. It's more deep lying issues than that. So, in my opinion, I think we need a sporting director, in my opinion, and I think John Woodkin, in my eyes, needs to move. I wouldn't say completely out of the club completely. I would say a different role in a different capacity, I think.
Well, this is what we keep saying, Doc, because we understand that Top is loyal to John Rudkin because John Rudkin has been around the whole time that Top's been at the football club and obviously everything with his dad. So, even just removing him from that role, if you want to keep him around, if you want to keep him employed, whatever you want to do with him, that's fine. But such a specialist, important role as director of football is, you need to have an expert, and John Rudkin is quite clearly not an expert.
I feel very strongly about this, and we've talked about it many times. But over this past week, I listened to a podcast from a Danish football podcasting company that makes a lot of different podcasts. One of them was a deep dive interview with some of the guys from Right to Dream. You might have heard of Right to Dream from their academies in Ghana, Egypt. The guys who produced Mohamed Kudus with FC Nordsjælland. They have recently acquired an MLS spot in San Diego to expand their academy. And one of the key guys about all of this, he was, talking about building the directorial setup. And he was mentioning roles as technical director, sporting director, and assistant sporting director, and a few more roles I can't name off the top of my head. It was about 5-6 people. And John Rudkin currently is doing all of those for our football club. Our setup is so outdated that when a new club is formed, they already have 6 times the manpower to scout, sign, and all of these things. I mean, John Rudkin might actually even be capable, but he's just overrun with all the things he has to do. He can't be doing it all, man.
He can't.
Even if
he doesn't have to run it all.
Exactly.
He
needs help.
All he has to do, all we need to be doing is say, like, because other football clubs now, so many football clubs have moved on with the times. They don't have likes of directors of football and that kind of thing. They've moved on with like sporting directors or even technical directors now. They've moved on to progress as football clubs, and we haven't. And I think it's time that we need to do the same, because otherwise it's only going to get worse. So, as I said, I think Brookie needs to move into a different role, I'd say, in my opinion. But keep Susan Whelan as the chief executive and still have Thomas the owner. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, because Susan Whelan now doesn't really deal with any of the football-related stuff. She is more on the commercial side, and that's
she's
fine.
doing a not bad job on that commercial side.
Exactly. I read somewhere that commercially, the club is in one of the best places it's ever been, right?
I think for Susan
not the
Whelan,
real
my
issue.
opinion of her definitely improved after looking into the account, because I thought she had a very tough job ahead of her, the cost-cutting exercise she needed to do while we were relegated to the championship, and to improve our wage to turnover ratio, despite losing so much revenue, was impressive. Still much work to be done, but she at the very least has given me the confidence to be, a bit excited to see how will it look like next time, because she actually seems to know what she's doing. And I mean, I did actually meet her the one time I was in Leicester in the elevator after the game, so she seemed like a lovely woman.
Ah,
right. So you met her in an elevator. You invited her around your house to look in her book. What's going on here, Duck? What's going on
Mate,
here?
you're taking it all out of context, mate. I'm 21. You could be sued for this. Absolutely horrible. I'll take this up.
I could not be
at
sued
blue
for
tinted
this.
glasses.
Hey, I'm only copying your words, mate. They are your words, right? Ryan. We've been speaking about who stays, who goes. I mean, who do you think, excluding the people out of contract like Danny Ward and Jamie Vardy, blah blah blah? What about sales? Who is the first person on your list to get rid of?
Well, my first one would be Fass, in my opinion. He's definitely one I think that definitely needs to be shipped out the door. I just had enough of him, seeing him out there on the football pitch. He just quite clearly, I don't even know how on earth he's an international centre half. He's just absolutely shit. He's the second version of Colaccini is that shit. I mean, seriously. I mean, how on earth could we possibly have signed one of the worst centre-backs I could ever watch in my life? So he's the first one.
And remember, well, I was going to say, remember as well, Brendan Rodgers brought that guy in to be a leader for us, and his personality, his character, Doc, is fucking shocking, mate. It's always, whenever a goal goes in, well, he waves his arms in the air, blames everybody else, and then he runs about 20 yards, with the ball forwards, and he thinks he's fucking Beckenbauer. It's a joke, Doc.
It is an absolute joke. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say on it. It's
it's not good. The other couple I'm thinking of letting go, I would say, would be Samari. You've already discussed with one of the two other callers. He's another one that needs to go. Yanni Vestergaard's another. He's an absolute definite. He's so unprofessional by his own standards, and you can't have that at your club. And the other one, Vestergaard, I'm saying. The other one, and this is the final one, Patson Daka. He's another one that needs to go in my eyes.
Too many chances with no results.
Yeah, too many chances. Get rid of him. We need to free up so much money off the wage bill. It's so badly needed.
Yeah, it's like we said before, him and Samara in particular, they've had so many chances. I mean, I suppose at least Samare's shown one every 10 games that he can do it.
But
Daka,
it's not enough. It's not enough.
No, I know it's not enough. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, to be fair, I have no doubts he would probably be an absolute baller in the Championship. But we know from last time he doesn't want to play in that division. I mean, he went to Sevilla last time, didn't he? Was it Sevilla? It was Sevilla, wasn't it?
Yeah. And we'd probably lose him when we went back up, right? If he had a brilliant season in the Championship, would he likely to not just leave on a free to a club that is guaranteed to stay in the Premier League and not battle for it like he would have to do with Leicester? So, I mean, get the 10 million for him. Yeah. Save them in the book, invest in a young talent or whatever.
Just lower the demands. Just don't put out ridiculous, small, hefty fees. Just just lower the demands. Just get them off the books, man.
Exactly.
Sick of it.
80K a week, man. That is an unbelievable amount in the championship. For that amount of money, I wanted to single-handedly be able to change games every week in the championship and fight for the badge until you bleed out. I mean, and Sumare definitely wouldn't be able to do that, although he would definitely be able to boss some championship games. And that's, I think, the standard we need to hold the players who are on the European chasing Leicester wage kind of structure from in that time still on those contracts, because if they can't single-handedly win games week in, week out in the championship, they're not deserving of the 80, 90, 100K a week that some of them are getting. And I'd rather have them sold and replaced by some, just short-term squad option who's on 1/6, 1/8 the wage and will do the same job.
Yeah. So before I go, because I'm sure you've got another call or two or something like that. One thing I want to show is the House Stadium model.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Nice. Okay.
Got that for my birthday.
That looks cool, man. Looks really
That's
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah, I've seen that in the club shop, but I refuse to spend any more money in that place, mate. Honestly, after my pint glass that just gave me flat beers, genuinely, it was. I mean, and a coffee mug, a coffee cup that leaks. Honestly, you couldn't.
That's unbelievable.
Like the defense. Honestly,
does it leak as much as the defense, though?
This isn't even a joke. The pint glass is as flat as the performance is, and the coffee cup leaks as much as the defense. It's a joke. Anyway, Ryan, mate, thanks for calling in. Much appreciated,
You're
mate.
welcome.
We'll see you soon. All right. Cheers, Ryan. Brilliant stuff as always. Up next is Mark. Mark, are you ready? He is ready. Here he is. First time caller, I think. How's it going, Mark?
Hey boys, how's it going?
Yeah, good man. Good man. First time, right? I'm not making.
Yeah, first time caller. Yeah, love your shows, guys. All the content. Watching. I'm over here in the US. I'm in Charlotte. You probably saw a couple of comments.
Oh, Charlotte.
Yeah, so I've got hopes that Vardy's going to come over.
Yeah, understandable. Maybe rejoin with Christian Fuchs and Dean Smith, right?
Yeah, Stevie Walsh.
Over in Charlotte. I think that could happen. Have you guys filled out your designated player spots, or is there still one open for Jamie Vardy?
Yeah, they've got a couple, I think, because they brought in Will Zaha as well.
Which takes one of them this way.
Yeah. So they got him in. But I don't know. I don't see it happening. I feel like his wife's going to want to go to New York or somewhere, isn't she?
Probably.
Well, we're seeing today that he wants to stay in. It came out today from Sky Sports that he doesn't want to drop to the Championship, and he thinks he can still offer, quite a bit in the Premier League. What do you think to that, Mark? Because I'm not so
I don't
sure.
know about that. I mean, for the wages he's going to want. I mean, who's going to want him for? He's not going to be a starter, is he? Unless he's going to one of the promoted clubs. He's not, and
I don't see him doing that. I mean, imagine him in a Leeds top. I think I would have to rip out my eyes.
He's not going to go to Leeds. The Sheff Wednesday fans.
Yeah.
I think that, isn't it? Sheffield Wednesday, but I mean that'd be a fairy tale.
I think one of those, right? Or the America seems like the biggest option for me. He would be a huge boost over there for what he's accomplished. And I mean, for me at the very least, I'd definitely maybe check out a few more MLS games than I have if Jamie Vardy's involved.
Right.
But let's see. I mean, I'm hoping he doesn't go to another Premier League club. I think either go back home to Sheffield Wednesday, I can understand that, or go abroad, because it would hurt too much to see him in any other club. Sure.
Mark, go on, talk to us, mate, because I always like to ask first-time callers this about what are your thoughts about the club at the moment with everything, with relegation and all the off-the-pitch stuff.
It's just, it seems like it's one thing after another. From the running of the club to the week after week of abject performances, the recruitment, or lack of, should I say? I don't know. It's just where do you start? And then you got Ruud van Nistelrooy. He keeps banging the drum in his weekly conferences on, okay, we're going to shape the club for next season now. Now we're relegated, we're going to look for next season. And then you see the team lineup again, and it feels like he's done the complete opposite. I mean, where he starts with, I looked at it Saturday before I was watching, I was like, for a second I was going crazy because I didn't know Mavididi was injured. I was like, he's dropped Mavididi, and I wouldn't put it past him. But then he's
exactly
Dico Diva Reed. Why not start with McAteer?
I think
Strange.
maybe you've chosen the worst possible time, really, to come on for the first time, because there is nothing but negativity at this point, right? Everything has gone wrong. Relegated, still shambolic performances. Vardy's leaving. We seem more clueless than ever from top to bottom, really. And the lack of activity from anyone at the club, really, to about what's going to happen in the championship. I mean, I get we still have 4 more weeks of Premier League football, but no manager sacking, no official words. Root says he doesn't even know when he's having a talk with the club about aligning, if he is to stay for the future. I mean, you couldn't have picked a worse time, because I would be surprised if you said anything positive. I mean,
do you? I mean, what do you think, Mark, about with the incomings the outgoings this summer? Because that's what we've been speaking about.
Yeah.
Is there any in particular that you want to try and keep hold of? Because I suppose we can mention Mads Hermansen and Bilal El-Khanous, but the chances are they're probably going to be gone, aren't they?
Yeah, I would think. Pretty much aligned with like what Ross and Ryan was saying. I mean, my concern is, yes, and of course I think we've all pretty much, I'd say 90% of Leicester fans are probably aligned on the players they would like to ship out. My concern is who's going to come in for them on the wages that some of them are on, like, Vestergaard, and I don't see anyone coming in for him. So yeah, in an ideal world, we're going to want to ship some of these players out to then refresh where we can. I mean, aside from not being able to ship out the deadwood, I'm pretty optimistic with the squad we have, and a few tweaks and additions. But some of the academy, you got Nelson coming back. We, on a lot of your shows, you've been through all this. I don't want to drum it all up again, but you've got. They're going to be a solid championship side with some additions. Yeah. But my concern is the deadwood is going to be lingering around, right?
The biggest problem, I think, Doc, is going to be the ones that have come in recently or been given contracts recently. So I think if you asked Leicester fans, do you want Vestergaard, Ayew, and De Cordova-Reid here next season? I think a large majority would say absolutely not. But them 3 in particular, I don't know how we get rid of them, Doc, with because they've only just arrived. We've given all 3 of them, I think, are on 3-year deals. If not, maybe
Ayew's on 2. So he has 1 year left. On 2. I mean, yeah, who knows, right? How much money are they on? We don't know. I mean, there's been reported figures, and maybe some other club is clueless enough to want to take them in for the Premier League experience or whatever. That's what we have to hope on, or someone abroad is willing to give them a chance. I remember when Vestergaard was exiled from the team under Rodgers, there were rumors of Fulham and such being interested. I mean, he has just put out a disaster class of a season, but hopefully someone still sees something good in him. Maybe they look at his performances for the Danish national team, who have been very good in the past few games and has been solid for the past few years, really, if you look into it. So maybe someone wants to take them off our hands, but yeah, I really want us to trim the fat, and those are the ones who I really want us to get rid of, so we can make space for players on less money, and from the academy who wants to work for the badge and are hungry to go in there and prove themselves, and not just riding out expensive contract for the last few years of their pro careers.
Last one for you, Mark. Go on.
I was just going to say, it's like a vicious circle, though, isn't it? Who's giving 3-year deals to De Cordova-Reid and Vestergaard?
John Rudkin.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. It's just like no one's learning they're learning the mistakes. It's
the last one I was going to ask you about was Oliver Skipp, because I'm convinced he'll be more than capable in the Championship next season. That is one I definitely don't see going, because he costs £20 million,
and it would be such a big loss, right? It's on such a short. Whereas someone like Samari has run out much of his contract and has offered value on the pitch throughout those years, and with him being written off as well. So he would be a bit of a profit in the short term. Skip, I don't think we can afford to sell him, because the loss, it would be on our books after one season. And I mean, mentally and personality wise, he's done nothing wrong. He's just not been good enough for the Prem, and the price tag John Rudkin's paid for him has been way too much. He's never complained. He's never done anything crazy. When he's came on the pitch, he's tried as much as he could do. And he's actually played a bit better in the recent games that I've been able to watch, in the Brighton game in particular. So I'm open for seeing his redemption arc and really finding his space in the squad next season.
What do you think of that one, Mark? Because
I think
I always
I
say the
agree.
price tag's a good point, because like I always use the example Harry Maguire. If Harry Maguire was a £30 million signing for Manchester United, I don't think he would have got as much of the hate that he's had over the last few years. But because it was 80 million, obviously people are going to take the piss out of that. And I think the same with Skip. If Skip was a £10 million signing, I don't think he'd be getting as much criticism as he is now, because it's 20.
I agree. I think I saw your show yesterday. Kate was saying the same, right? It's not Skip's fault that he came for that fee, right?
Yeah.
And I agree, Duck. It's he's going to do a job in the Championship, right? And remember, it's the Championship season. It's a grind. You got a ton of games. You need a squad, and maybe that's where you give. If we get a League Cup run, that's where we give the youngsters. We bring them in for that. But yeah, he's going to do a job. You got to keep him for next season. He's not the most exciting players, but hey, I mean, then we get rid of him. He's not going to, if we get promoted.
Yeah, he'll have a job. He'll
him.
definitely have a part to play for sure. Mark, thank you, mate. Thanks for calling in.
you, boys.
Yeah. Hopefully you join us more often as well. That'd be great, mate. All right.
Yeah, definitely. Take care, boys.
All right. Cheers, Mark. See you in a bit. Thank you very much. I keep seeing this comment from Planet Earth. It came out, well, I think people have had the idea anyway for a while, but Rob Tanner confirmed the other day that as part of the recruitment process, it is John Rudkin who negotiates deals. Of course, Top, I think, signs off, so that's on him. But John Rudkin does negotiate deals, so I think it's on the pair of them, really. If Rudkin negotiates a shit deal, Top signs it off. Yeah, they're both to blame for that. Okay, let me check my list. Up next, I think, is Zach. Let me check. Yes, Zach is up next. Where is he? Here he is. What's going on, mate? Zachy. What's up, Zachy?
Yeah. You all right, mate?
All good, mate. You've been having a little. You've been having a little moan on social media today because you don't want Marty Cifuentes.
Yeah, I don't want him.
Why do you not rate him, Seki? I'm very interested in that opinion.
Because he's not good tactically, to be honest. He's struggled in QPR recently, and he finished with QPR on 15 right now.
Yeah,
but that's much higher than where they were.
No. Don't
under Ainsworth. It's much higher than they were under Ainsworth.
I mean,
Ainsworth was sacked in the October, and after October, he took over there until the July. Then he has a full season where he can implement his idea properly with the preseason and everything. He struggled with them.
I think I see a bit of where you're coming from, right? In terms of if you just look at the table, and I mean, obviously, none of us are fully expert about what's going on in every EFL club. I'm lucky with QPR that I have a few mates I play Football Manager with weekly, are massive QPR fans and follow that club, right into the inside in terms of everything that's going on. And from what I've heard from them, they are, basically in love with him. They think the biggest mistake their high-ups can do is letting him go in the summer, because there's been disagreement. They've apparently lost all their medical stuff. Apparently the guy who's controlling it now is from Dubai, because an NBA team took that, so they've struggled with injuries. Their players aren't a top team, championship team, and I've watched a few of their games. I think they look adaptable in terms of the games they go up against. They can play attractive football, but they can also sit deep if they're against greater teams, which I think Marty Cifuentes, from the limited look I've had at him, looks really good. And from the words of people who I trust, who follow QPR very closely, have spoken very, very highly of him. And that leads me to personally be very excited if we were able to get him.
But luckily, we are not getting him. He's going to West Brom, and chapter close that.
I mean, who is the man that you would like to take over? Is it Des Buckingham, like you said last year?
No. He's not ready yet for Leicester job, and we accept that. But
go on, who?
To be honest, I wanted, to be honest, Emmanuel or Michael from the Spanish league.
Who?
Emmanuel, Real Sociedad coach, who is leaving.
Do you know who this is, Doc?
Oh, Real Sociedad's coach.
Yeah, Emmanuel. He's leaving.
Is he stepped down? Has he quit, or what's happening?
He's leaving after the end of the season.
Do you think? I mean, I don't watch much Spanish football, but do you think someone who's managing, Real Sociedad is a big Spanish club who can get themselves into Europe. Do you think you want to take the step down to the Championship though?
But to be honest, if you are presenting a project to them, they might interest them. He's a good youth developer, to be honest. He developed the best of the player, like Orazabal. He made Kubo really sign out this last season. Kubo was playing really well under him. He has a quite good history of developing talents, to be honest. That's why I want him.
That's something I
Because
like.
we
That's
want
something I really
transition
want to see.
Because we
are
want a
transitioning
manager who's capable of developing players. I mean, not even particularly youth. We want a manager that's got a good track record of coaching. I mean, we know Brendan Rodgers is an elite coach. I mean, we hear it from everybody. Coaching wise, developing players, he's brilliant. And all of the players that played under him that did ever have interviews and stuff like that have said the same thing and all of that stuff. So I think that's important because, under the last two managers, we've had players that have regressed, in my opinion. I mean, Mavididi, whatever I think of him, he hasn't developed in any way. Of course, Fatawu has been injured, so that's irrelevant. But for me, like Okoli, for example, Caleb Okoli is a young player, a lot of room to grow. I don't think he's any better than he was when he signed.
No, I mean, the thing is with Caleb Okoli, we haven't seen him consistently enough for me to really judge because coming in pretty cold after not playing for a while, right? It felt like he heated up in the Brighton game, in my opinion, and then he got put on the bench again. So, I mean, I haven't seen enough. I don't think the thing that really, I don't want to say I was optimistic on Akuba because I wasn't, but the thing I was holding on to give me a bit of hope was he's developed youth with the England U17s, won the World Cup with them. So he could get someone like Will Albers or Sammy Braybrooke into the team or Michael Golding, or that was really before we talked much about Jake Evans and Jeremy Manka before the season started. He did none of that. Absolutely none of it. And I want someone who can, make that promise and then fulfill it. I don't need them to be starting every week. I want them to be a part of the squad, getting minutes and participating in our battle for promotion.
Yeah, I mean, Zach, the main thing we've been talking about tonight is who goes, who stays, all of that stuff. I mean, who do you want to get rid of first? Who would you be booting out of that door?
Almost most of them, to be honest. Let's Will Alves, Ben Nelson, Golding. Maybe we need to keep Skip, to be honest, because we need to play players in midfield, and he would definitely be playing well in Championship. He was the player of the season when he was in Norwich, to be honest. So he can do the job there. And on the defensive side, if we able to keep Kohli, is good, beneficial. If can't, then we need to get a good defensive partner for Ben Nelson. And
not Cody.
I want to keep. No, Cody should ship it to Wolves. If Wolves don't want it, just leave him on free. Don't want him.
Couple million, just take a couple million. They'll pay a couple million for him, won't they? Easy.
Yeah. If they don't want, if don't pay us a couple million, just give him freedom later. He can go Wolves by himself. Don't want him because his contract, his wages alone is around 5 or 6 million a year.
I think he's approaching. He's in and around 100k, isn't he? He is up there, 100k a week. So, I mean, Doc, I think that's the one everyone's talking about at the moment, Doc, because of the poor performances, because of the twerking for Wolves, the podcast. I think everybody's just fed up of Connor Cody.
Yeah, I mean, it's too much. I really want to see him go, especially because he's supposed to be a leader as well. And I mean, he can say only one on a podcast, but come on, mate. I don't think he's been much of a leader in the team.
Yeah, it's the same old, isn't it? It's always talk, no walk from Connor Cody. I think just all the gaslighting as well all season. Oh, this is a great bunch. Yeah, the character of the group is brilliant. I mean, shut up. It's bullshit. I don't want to hear it. I'm fed up of it. Fed up of hearing it. Go to Wolves. He clearly wants to go, and apparently the deal was, Craig Dawson, Connor Cody swap deal that was on the cards.
I'd rather have that, to be
back in
honest.
January.
I mean, have him help out for a year in the Championship and get rid of Connor Cody.
Dawson, really?
Dude, Dawson is by no means brilliant. By no means. But it's rather than Connor Cody. That's how much you want to get rid of him, if that makes sense.
I prefer Zach's idea of letting him go for free.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant idea. That Zach has
Yeah, but
as well.
still, you're gonna save 5 or 6 million a year, to be honest. Rather than keeping without for getting $2-3 $2-3 million.
Yeah, for sure. Right, Zach. I'm gonna let you go, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for calling. Much appreciated. We'll
Thank
see you
you.
soon, mate. All right. Cheers. Cheers.
I have a wild card here to throw in terms of the coaches we've talked about, right? And I think it would be bold, and I'm not sure it would work out, but I would be excited if Johannes Hoff Torup ended up joining with Glenn Riddersholm, who
for fuck's sake,
Norwich.
Shut up.
They've just been sacked at Norwich, but I think they could do a job at Leicester. I really like that.
No, that's not why you want him. You want him because he's Danish. That's why.
Because I think he's a good manager. Mate,
a Danish manager could get sacked by Torquay United, and you'd be like, you know what? I think that would be a good gamble. I
wouldn't want us to take the Copenhagen manager currently, to be honest. I think Johannes Hoff Torup, and he has the track record of developing youth as well from FC Nordsjælland. A distinctive style of play as well. He has the adult by his side, Glenn Riddersholm, who's won the Danish league multiple times with FC Midtjylland.
They were shit. They've had a shit year. They've had a shit season.
They have had a shit few months, yes, but they were decent for most of the season. And you can't just look at that one season. I saw him challenge with the young bunch in FC Nordsjælland for the championship in Denmark under Johannes Hoff Torup. I like the football. I think it would be a bold move. It's not a safe one at all. It's a very, very risky one, but, I'd be glad with my little Danish hands being excited for it.
Do you think? Yeah, I'm not going to go there. Anyway, Daz is up next. Daz and Manny, the last two. No more callers, just Daz and Manny. Let's get Daz in. What's going on, mate? How you doing?
Evening, boys. How are we?
Oh, it's been a bit crap, hasn't it, mate?
Yes, mate. Yeah. Just trying to get my head around it all, really. Struggling. How are you guys?
Basically, just summed up the whole season, right? Struggling. I think. I don't know. I think we've all gone through the 5 stages of grief a million times. Anger, denial, and all this. I think I've been in acceptance for the past month, maybe. Because I just don't feel anything on game days anymore. The only thing that really gets me excited if I see, one of the academy kids get their debut, get some minutes, or Jamie Vardy scoring a goal. But I mean, there's really not much to smile about as a Leicester fan, right?
Oh, you're on mute. On mute. I think.
Oh,
no.
We can't hear you.
We've lost you. Daz, there you go. He's going to click out and click back in.
Yeah, click again. Let's go again.
Is it me or is Daz a Mark Albrighton lookalike? I'm not sure on that. I'll have another look when he comes back. There's a question here. Where is it? Sorry, a comment. We need a manager that is this good on a budget, especially if we get punishments, etc.
Danny Roll would be good as well.
Yeah, Danny Roll. I think Danny Roll, to be honest with you, I think Danny Roll is the favourite amongst fans. Out of the names that are out there, I'm not saying they're the one, dream manager or whatever, but out of the managers that are out there, like the names that have been put around, like Dyche, Martin, whoever else, I think most have said Danny Roll. Right,
I just really don't want Dyche, although he seems like a funny bloke. But I'm open for Martin, but it's not my preferred choice. I have many others, including your
We're back.
There's audio again.
We're back. Right, sorry, boys. So just while it's fresh on my mind, I just want to chuck my 2 penneth in about the players and who we should get rid of and who we're going to keep and everything else. I think if we can keep Fatawu and Mavididi, we stand an half decent chance next season. I genuinely feel that way because we're free falling at the minute, and Hermansen's going to go because he's a sellable asset. El Canus has got a relegation clause. So is Ndida. They've all got relegation clauses. So with the relegation clauses in there, it's only normal that they're going to leave. Unfortunately, sorry, my daughter's screaming at me. Right. So it's only normal for me that I think they're going to leave. So I was quite pleased when Jamie Vardy didn't sign a new contract. And I know people are going to hate that. And I hate it for saying it because I love that bloke and I want a statue built outside. And I got emotional when it was announced. But we're not Leicester City where we can afford 150, 100 and whatever grand a week it is. And we're in a shit show, excuse the French, because of the idiocy that John Rudkin's done, top signed off on. We've allured players like Connor Cody and Harry Winks, who are being stupid and are on 90 bag a week. We can't sustain that anymore. So we've saved £11 million next season on the wage bill from losing Danny Ward, Everson and Vardy. Everyone else takes what, 35% reduction in wages as well?
Yeah,
30
that's
something,
fair, right?
yeah.
So we need to focus on the youth because that's all we've got. I think the EFL are going to give it to us with sand. It's going to be a rough ride next season without a new manager, without the squad. I think the EFL are going to make an example of us. So I think, we should always expect that. So yeah, I don't know, boys. I think if we can get rid of a few players like your Fout Fazes, your Boubacar Samares, these players that have got 12 months left on the contracts and are high earners. I mean, Mavadidi and Fatawu were on 10 grand when we signed them in the Championship. I think Madsen Manson's on 10 grand a week. So it's like, it is possible. But yeah, this season's just been an absolute shit show. And I don't like going anymore, boys. I've got a season ticket. I just don't like going.
I'm not surprised, mate, because as we keep saying, it's like all we're really getting excited for with games now is either Vardy getting his 200 goals or Jeremy Monga, getting a chance in the team. Jake Evans, I saw he scored a good goal yesterday as well for the under-21s in a 3-3 draw with Southampton. I think they were 3-0 down. They came back 3-3. So, but yeah, Doc, what do you make to what Daz said there, mate, about keeping Mavadidi and Fatawu is massive, but getting rid of, because you got to remember we got relegated and then we went and gave Connor Cody and Harry Winks 70 grand a week. Now, clearly the intention there was to come back up straight away. But that's reckless behaviour, surely, Doc, to go and do that. When you're already struggling with PSR issues, to go and give 70 and 80 grand a week out to a championship players, that's reckless.
Yeah, I mean it's bold. I think it's crazy, right? Could you really not have found anyone who could fulfill the same role for less money per week? Because I mean, it's kind of giving the middle finger to the EFL. And I mean, we got out of it then. We'll see how hard they manage to punish us now. I think Winks has done what we needed him to in that first season, didn't in the second season. Connor Cody never fulfilled what he came here to do, really. Ended up just enjoying the spa and the hotel at the Seagrave for most parts. I want us to lead into the youth. I want us to trim the squad so we have some solid, great championship starters surrounded by youths who wants to come in, get the minutes, and try and dispossess someone like Mavadidi of his starting spot, or someone like Skip, because I want them to be the starters coming into the season, but I want it to be a manager who's open as well. If someone like Jake Evans or Will Albert starts playing out of their mind, that they'll get the chance to continue playing and continue growing. And that's really my big dream. And if it takes just 2 years to come up because of that and the kids need time to grow, I'm fine with that. Rather than spending 70, 80K a week again recklessly on some big names to try and bring us up.
This is what I was just going to say to you guys. I'm glad that you guys have brought that question up, because I feel sorry for Oliver Skip. He didn't, obviously his agent's having an absolute laugh. And look, you can appreciate it. His agent's rubbing his hands together. Yeah.
Daniel Levy's loving life.
Exactly. But he was always for me, his level clearly is not the Premier League. It's clearly not that as of yet, but he's still young. I think he's 23, 24. I don't think he's old. He's younger than Winks is
he's
by
23.
a few years. 23, yeah. So he's still young. He's been in Tottenham. He's been here, there, wherever. I think his level's going to be the Championship, and I think he's going to make that starting spot if Wilf goes and Bouba Samari goes. And I have to agree with you, Doc. I do think that youth is going to be paramount for us this year, well, next season, because Ben Nelson's done really well at Oxford. He can score a goal. He does look like he's 40, to be fair. Yeah, that's whatever. But
Not the most fortunate with the hairline. And,
no,
I mean,
but yeah, I think if we get,
I think Manny once said they got the numbers the wrong way round on his age.
I have to agree. I have to look. I know Manny and Kate have that little bit of beef about Indeedy and Skip and everything, and I get that, because I also think that Wilf is a rock at the back, but I think Enzo has ruined Wilf, in my opinion. Wilf, we always sung songs about Wilf being an amazing CDM. And now he's, trying to progress further forward up the pitch, and he's just not got the legs for it. He looks like a gazelle. So I don't know. If we get a good striker and we get a good manager, I think we can do all right. But I'm with Duck. I think it's going to be a couple of years, I feel, before we're actually competing again, because we need to reset, and that's the sad thing.
And I think Doc, because of the amount of work that is going to be needed this summer, that it will be an excuse from the top of the board of the club to not make a change. They'll be like, this isn't the right year because we've got so much to do. We need stability, blah, blah, blah. That's what I think they're going to say. It's not the right thing.
I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong.
You think Rude will stay?
What? No. I'm saying,
don't give me a heart attack. I'm going to leave, man. I don't want that guy anywhere near our club.
Well, for the record, I think he's going to be here until the PSR, when the accounting period shuts on the 30th of June, personally, but we'll see. But no, I mean the restructure at the top that's needed with Rodkin or the director of football, all of that stuff. Yeah, Doc, I think they won't do it because they'll hide behind the fact that they're going to have to do a lot of business this summer. Maybe it's not the right time to do it. Yeah,
you're going to have a lot of work to do, right? So why would you bring anyone in to help you do all the work you have to do?
Yeah,
I mean, I think, yeah, we've talked about those boardroom changes that are needed for so long, but my main takeaway from what we've had a chat about here is I think I would rather see us have 2 years rebuilding properly in the championship around the youth and laying a foundation that we believe have the potential of staying in the Prem when we then go back up, than hastily trying to scrape together a star-studded big-name championship team that could get us up at the first time of asking.
I don't think Wilf will be here. He's got a release clause. We found out with his new contract last year. I imagine it's quite cheap. I saw we keep talking about a rumor it was 15. I don't know if that's true or not, but I imagine a club's going to come and meet it. I can't see Wilf being there next season. I really can't. If he is good. It's very good for us in the championship. But
cheap code, yeah.
I just can't see it.
I think
all right,
does Sam
go
boys.
On, would you say you think he goes?
No, I was literally just going to say I think Wilf goes for me. I think the majority of the players now that are coming up to the last 12 months, like your Fazes, your Wilf, Samares, they're all being linked away from the club because they clearly don't want the wage cut, and clubs will approach now because they're in the final years of the contract. They'll be able to get a cheaper price, and we need to sell. So it's going to be I think we'll sell quite a few players, and that's good for everybody. But yeah, look, I know you got people waiting. Good show as always. Get the likes up, guys. See you in a bit.
Thank you, man.
Cheers, Daz, mate. See you very soon. As Daz said, make sure to hit the like button ahead of our last caller. Our last caller. Here comes the money. Let me just double check what we're on. We're on. There's 160 people watching on YouTube, and there's only 39 likes on the stream. Shocking performance. Hit the like button. It's free. It takes 2 seconds of your time. And while you're at it, hit subscribe if you haven't already.
And it massively boosts Locke's ego. Not that he needs it more, but you can definitely help that out as well. Regardless, though, let's get Manny in here, the slow Twitch Fibers fan of Skip, of course, as we all know him.
Slow Twitch Fibers. There we go. Okay, let's get him in. Where is he? There he is. What's going on, Manny?
Oh, the man who started the UK Skip fan club. Here I am.
Yeah, you did say that you want him to be played to get him in the shop window.
Well, I mean, what is he worth in the open market, do you think?
I think maybe a trip to Nando's, maybe. Take John Rucken and
hold on, a minute ago you were just telling me 24 years old, played at England youth levels, player in the championship, so he's worth something, right?
I think he can have the redemption season in the championship. I'm quite confident of that. And I think the big thing that would allow me to give him the chance again, Manny, is the fact that he's mentally done nothing wrong. He's spoken about how he's struggled a bit, but he's not said anything in the media. He's not caused a fuss. He's played whenever he's called upon. Not all too well. I do agree with you on that, but I mean, I'm open for a second chance for him, especially since he's just been here for a year, and we would take a massive loss because even if we got 10, 50 million for him, we would never get near what we paid.
No, we're never going to get near what we paid because we overpaid.
Exactly.
But you have to assess that value. That's still ringing in the back of people's ears at the moment. But my contention would be you're paying this guy 55,000 a week.
Do we know that, or just reported?
That's what's reported.
It's what we have to go out of. We don't have anything else, right? Yeah.
It's roughly 2.8 million a year or something like that. If he's worth 10 to 15 million in the transfer market, what can you do with 10 to 15 million pounds and let's say 30 a week? We just mentioned what we were paying Mads, Mavadidi and Fatawu in the Championship.
Yeah,
Can you find the same quality for less money? The difference being, though,
you could get a striker. You could get Mathias. You could get Kvistgaard from Brøndby. I think he would come.
Enough with the Danes, Doug. Enough with the Danes. All right, give it a rest. Okay, my point is that if you spend that, if you have that money available to you, can you find a player for say £5-6 million, much cheaper, that might be good enough in the Premier League should you go up? The problem is with Skip is that in the Championship he'll do a job. But what happens when we then go up? We have to change our midfield again when we get promoted. So what, we're going to rip up the heartbeat of the team and have a new... I
still think he has time to grow into a Premier League player. I think he can.
Duck...
maybe it's
Stop. He's not going to be a Premier League player. He's had multiple chances under multiple managers, and if he didn't do it this season when he's 23, 24, in a team that's struggling as badly as we do. Remember, he couldn't even get the squad at times, couldn't even get on the bench. And remember, he's not caused any kind of problem. Like Winks is off, not in the squad because they've had a disagreement. Vestergaard the same. Skip's not caused any problems. He still can't get on the bench because of lack of quality. And if you can't get in this team that's got, 17 points, what use are you going to be when you're 25, 26? When you'll have a year or two left on your contract and your value is 5 million at best. Sell him now. You're forgetting there are other players available in world football. We can find somebody for £5 million who'll do a better job than Oliver Skip on much lower wages, but with a year or two's worth of play, could well be an excellent Premier League midfielder. Skip has hit his ceiling. There is nowhere else to go, no further to go. All he is an asset that retains some value because, as people have said, the English tax, cash it in. And actually, it's not just him. We actually need a whole new spine. Like, we're actually okay for fullbacks. We've got JJ, Ricky, VK or Thomas would do a job in that league for a bit. Woyo especially. So we're fine for fullbacks. We've got Mavadini, we've got Alves, we've got Monga, we've got Fatawu. We're good for wingers. Actually, what we need is a spine because Vardy's going, Edouard's going to leave, and Cannon's already gone, so we're left with one striker, Daka, who none of us particularly rate. So we need strikers.
I know a guy. I'm not going to say it again, but I do.
It.
I think
I know a guy. There's a young guy at St Etienne, Dillian Nguesson. He's 16 years old. Going to be brilliant when he's 19. Get him. We're going to lose midfielders. So Booba wants to go. Wolf is probably going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Winks has been a problem. I would like to sell Skips. That's up to 4 midfielders that could go. Centre backs, Cody can go. Vestergaard can go. Fast can go. Okoli wants to go. That could be another 4 of them. So, and even at keeper, we're losing our reserve keeper in Everson. Danny Ward's out of contract. Mads is probably going to leave. We've only got 1 keeper left. So ignore the edges of the pitch. Fullbacks and wingers, they're not priorities. The spine is everything. So we need to focus on anybody who's 24 and under, roughly under £5 million, because we're going to have to bargain hunt.
I would hard sell to find players for that price, though. I mean, leagues have gotten so inflated with what they want.
Did somebody say build the team around Daka?
I hopefully
did one of you say it?
No.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure because I thought somebody was laughing at one of the things you said.
Not build the team around Daka. He's our only player on the books.
The thing, Manny, for this prize hunting and bargain hunting, it's very hard to find young players for the price you're saying. You want a talent who can break into the Premier League from the Danish Superliga? Unless it's a keeper, you're looking at 7.5+ million euros. I mean, and that's if it's not from a big club. If it's from a big club, you're looking at 10+ million euros. If you want it from the Belgian league, it's just as expensive. If you want it from the Eredivisie, it's just as expensive. Unless you want to go directly to the source, or buy a player, someone like Mavididi, who's done it before, but his ceiling is someone within that good championship region, because he's 26, 27, coming from Ligue 1, where you get them on cut price deals. It's hard to find those bargain buys, and yes, we could go directly to the source, but that sort of system takes time to set up. It won't just be done quickly. And the 16-year-old you mentioned might be brilliant at 19, but is he going to come in and then start next season when Vardy's gone and Daka might have left as well and we have no strikers?
How much was Matt Hermanson?
He was more than 5 million. And what did I say? 5 million? 5 million euros, plus we paid, I believe, 2 million euros extra.
That is our target price, though, Doug. It might be a lot of money in the Danish
many,
league,
did I not say that goes for goalkeepers? Goalkeepers are generally cheaper in the market.
How much was Mavididi?
Mavididi, what other kind of player did I mention? A player who you likely know where their ceiling is, because they're 25, 26, 27, and they've played in high leagues, and you get a cut price deal because that current club doesn't want them. Those type of deals we can definitely find, but you're not going to find the next big thing from the Belgian league or Eredivisie or Danish league or Swedish league or Norwegian league and go in and say, I want your best talent for 5 million euros. That's not how it works anymore. Those markets have now been sought after so much and have been, risen in priority that you now have to pay the price for them.
Those deals are still out there. Otherwise, you couldn't get Hudson-Odoi for £3 million.
When was that though? Was that how many years ago was that?
A year and a half.
Callum Hudson-Odoi, wasn't he? How old is he now?
Last season, he's 24. I think he is.
Who got him?
I think Marinakis got him when in one of those, when he was doing lots and lots of signings. Someone, I'm sure, will check for us, but I'm pretty sure he was 3 rising to 5.
Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, maybe Locks will check for us. But
yeah, I think he was. Yeah.
My point is, even in today's market, there are bargains. There's always bargains available. It's just who's looking. Some people will have a player on the bench who's not played this season. Will go, this guy's not for me, and someone will go, well, that person would work magically here. We could snap him up because no one else wants him. There's always bargains out there. There's more and more players on freeze than ever before, because every player now wants to run their contract down and try and get instead of giving a transfer fee to the club, I'll absorb that into my own wages. There's lots of players with 1 year left, 6 months left. Like, I know people have their different ideas about Woyo, for example. I actually think he's going to be very good in the Championship myself. Mm-hmm. But he was 3 million because he had 6 months left. That's a reduced value. You're looking at a 10 million euro player that was available for 3 because of the 6 months. So there are lots of bargains out there that you can shop for. The question is, are you looking in the right places?
I think maybe where the difference then lies between us many is what we define them as, because you can definitely get those cut price bargain where you believe the club is currently not valuing for what they're worth because they don't fit in their system, and you believe they will in yours. But I don't think many of them are the big bright talents many think about, right, when you're talking about these young players. Because if you want the elite talents coming through the emerging leagues, you will have to pay above.
No, we're not. I think we have to be realistic. We're not going to get the elite. We're not going to get the superstars. But there's the next run or the next run.
But even the good talent. I mean, Yankuba Minte, he played at this club in the city I live in. He's their record sale ever, because even they are able to now demand 7.5 million euros plus for someone like Yankuba Minte, who was great in the Super League. But he wasn't the star talent when he broke out. He was great, but he wasn't one of the elite talents.
There's also another way to do it, though. If you want to get those talented kids like Fatawu, you buy them with a loan and the obligation. Make sure you get the Make sure you get the obligation in there. Don't leave it floating. Have the obligation in there.
I agree with you. Many there are ways, but I just believe you maybe make it sound too simple as it is, because there definitely aren't as many as they are out there, and I hope we can find them. I think something like you mentioned with the Koulibaly deal is a great example of that. But I don't see him as the potential.
We spent 18 million of our budget though on Cody and Winks, right, and plus big wages associated with.
Yeah, that's horrible spending. Except for I accept the Winks one. I accept the Winks one. He was crucial when he went down.
Big expenditure in that league, right? If you're spending double digits, that's the big signing in that league. Not many clubs are spending £10 million, even £8 million on a player.
But on the flip side, you can argue that the Winks, signing was really, really, really important.
The Winks was crucial for our
promotion, to our title.
I don't want. You can't rewrite history that he wasn't a key player.
No. He was a good player in that season, of course. I'm not trying to rewrite history, but you're trying to act as if there aren't other players who could have also done a good job in that position.
Absolutely.
In that team. Remember, that team wasn't just Winks. He had KDH and Wilf aside him doing lots of the running, lots of the hard work. He had Ricky next door to him also doing a lot of heavy lifting. In that protected position of a quarterback with no pressure on you, I think there are players you could find maybe less technical but more athletic, for example, who are younger and potentially could improve in the Premier League should they get there. Winks did have a good season, but do you know what? We could have had somebody else in there that also would have done an equally a job and we would have gone up to. Remember, we went up by 7 points. That's a fair margin.
Yeah, absolutely. Hudson-Odoi, the reason he was so cheap was because he only had a year left. And
that's my point.
The crazy thing about the Hudson-Odoi one was Bayern Munich wanted to pay 70 million for him the year before, or the year and 18 months before. 70.
Do you know what I would say about that is obviously you can look back and say 70 is way too high, but the simple fact that large numbers and Hudson-Odoi were rated is that scouts look at him and they're saying potentially there's a 50, 70 million pound player if he could click every single week. Now he doesn't click every single week, but when you get a player with that ceiling of 50 to 70 and he's available for 3, that is a bargain. Because you don't ever know if he's going to get to that ceiling. But if he feels right, if he feels comfortable, if his social life is good, maybe he gets married, has kids, settles down. If his life clicks together and he finds a comfortable place. I seem to remember we won a league of rejects everywhere else, finding a comfortable home and then overperforming, right? This guy was still young too. He's not the only one. There's lots of players out there who can't get into teams, who have talent, who would love to think... We're looking at Leicester City in our current state. Fast forward 12 months, we could easily be pumped because we got promoted again and we're excited about another Premier League season and we're going to have another 100 million quid to spend. Make no mistake, Leicester City is as an exciting a team in the Championship that there is to go to, particularly since Leeds are now out. We're probably the number one team left in the Championship. If you were an individual young player...
I'd say Wrexham's probably more exciting at the moment.
Yeah, your Welsh bias comes in.
No, it's nothing to do with my Welsh bias. It's Wrexham, man.
You're a young Argentinian international, and you might go to Wrexham or Leicester. The first question is, how long does it take to get to Heathrow? Is the first question that they will ask.
Then I think you go to Wrexham.
No,
if you're Argentinian, doesn't the little Argentinian island have roots with Wrexham as well from the Irish back in the day? That's what I remember from watching the Welcome to Wrexham series.
Really?
There's a little island there that has roots with Welsh and some fans.
Yeah, Patagonia. Yeah, South Argentina. Yeah. Manny, would it surprise you? Would you be crazy surprised if Wrexham get promoted next season?
Yes.
You wouldn't be.
They don't have the money.
But that's my point, Manny. But that's my point, right? So you wouldn't be that surprised.
But that's because they just have such huge momentum about
which is my point. You're the one who always says about, okay, what's my quickest way to the Premier League?
Yeah.
A young exciting player might think Wrexham, the momentum they've got, the backing they've got, they're the team that I want to be a part of. I'll be on Disney Plus.
We all know the Championship is different though from League One. Haven't you all played with them?
Ipswich,
Football Manager.
Ipswich. I didn't say they wouldn't. I'd be surprised. But their budget.
Lux, there's a big difference though with how Ipswich got promoted into League One or from League One to the Championship. They were playing great football there. And, in all honesty, it's not that I watch a shit ton of League One because I don't have the option to in Denmark, but it's not the same amount of momentum I'm hearing around Wrexham. It's obviously out of this world that they got promoted back to back. But
my point is,
not quite the
same.
if
I'm a young, promising player right now and I had an offer from Wrexham and Leicester, the same wages, I'm choosing Wrexham.
But there won't be the same wages.
I think that depends on the player.
But then we're doing what we just said we wouldn't do, or we don't want them to do, and go and splash massive wages on Championship.
No, not massive wages, but Wrexham aren't going to pay 30 grand a week.
I think they probably will this season because they'll have to.
But how would they be able to afford that though, Lux?
Because their revenue. I read Wrexham's revenue is going to be first or second highest outside of the relegated teams. Their revenue is going to be that high.
Parachute
payments.
I don't believe that. And Leicester's
that would be ridiculous.
Is so much bigger than Wrexham's. Okay.
No, I'm not saying that their revenue is going to be higher than Leicester. I'm saying outside of the 3 relegated teams, I read that Wrexham will be 1 or 2.
That sounds
for
ludicrous.
revenue.
I know they have high revenue.
That might be the case. That might be the case. But still, as a direct head-to-head, I understand with all the, the fervour around Wrexham at the moment, and I'm one of those. I love their stories. Brilliant. Those guys have done an amazing job, and fair play. The fans have suffered for decades since Mickey Thomas smacked one in the top corner. But there is no comparison between Wrexham and Leicester City. In the short term, maybe Wrexham will go up and Leicester won't next season. Maybe that will happen. But overall, Leicester City is the 6th most successful club in England since the Premier League began, since modern football started, basically. Wrexham were in the National League not so long ago. And whilst this is a lovely Hollywood tale, if you seriously want to develop, do you want to go to Wrexham or do you want to come to Seagrave? Do you want to go to a club that's won completed domestic football since 1997? Actually, since 2000 we've completed it, if you count that League Cup win. So in the last 25 years, we've won everything. Of course you're going to choose Leicester. Of course. You're also closer to, practical things like it's an hour to London. So you can go shopping. Your girlfriend can go shopping. Your family can come.
You got Cardiff Bay. Cardiff.
I mean, listen.
Let me tell you this interest. Listen to this, Doc. This will blow your mind. Are you ready? The clubs, so Wrexham's revenue for their first year back in the Football League, so this is League 2. Mm-hmm. Their first year back in League 2, their revenue was 26 million. For comparison, the average Championship club revenue is 22 million. So when they were in League 2, their revenue was higher than most Championship clubs at the time. So all of this commercial stuff that's going on, they're probably top 10 most spoken about clubs in the US because of the documentary and all of that, and Ryan Reynolds. Honestly, I think you're underestimating.
Do you know how small £26 million revenue is?
No, but we're not saying that, Manny. We're comparing it to the other teams in the Championship.
I think that's what I'm saying. When you average out,
that was in League 2, Manny. That was when they were in League 2. That was their revenue.
I don't think you can say for certain though, because when you average out the Championship, you have some of those Championship clubs that don't make much. As those who make a bit more, maybe they won't be top, but then again, they've likely increased their revenue a bit. But I don't think their revenue have increased that much from going from League 2 to League 1, because how much more exposed will they be? Or were they? Not much, because their main source of why they were so attractive was because of the documentary and how many eyes were on that and how they got their brand out through their socials, which didn't change much from League 2 to League 1. The commercial, the money they'll get from TV revenue, I don't know how big that is for the Championship, but that will obviously help them out a bit. I don't think they'll go down again. I think you're naive if you say that, but I mean, I haven't kept up with their squad that much in League 1. I doubt they'll go back to back, but I would have to look more into to say for sure if they can go straight back up. But I do think though it's fair to say that if you are an up and coming player deciding where to go, it's up to the individual, because I mean the storytelling of Wrexham has been absolutely fantastic, and I think many young players look at themselves and say, "Why would I not want to be part of that journey?"
Because our story is even better than theirs. We're the greatest story ever told in modern football. That's why.
Yeah. 10 years ago.
And we are the greatest story 10 years ago. But I think if you're young, 19,
no one's wanted to join Blackburn. No one's wanted to join Blackburn.
You guys are like an old journeyman, tired boxers who's been punched around so much. You're giving up. You're giving up. Look, I get it. We've had a stinker of a season, but we are Leicester City in the league that we're going to. We are a big boy. Of
course we are. Of course. No one's denying that.
Last time we went there, we absolutely hosed that league. And that was with several changes. And I know that it was a better squad then than it is now. But we've got players like Jeremy Monga, Jake Evans coming through, Henry Cartwright coming through. We've got Aluko coming through. We've also retained Fatawu, which is a big one, right? That's a massive one. For now. We're going to lose our keeper, who's a brilliant keeper. But our other keeper is also a really good keeper. Stolarczyk's a really good keeper. That's fine. So when you actually look at what's left, there is the foundations for another team that could seriously challenge for playoffs and above next season with almost no signings. We still need another striker at least now that Vardy's going, of course. But if our first team stayed fit, you'd expect them to be in the mix for promotion as it is. If you actually sell £100 million worth of players and shift all of those wages, including Vardy's wages, off the books, then you have so much room, assuming we are able to sign other players, if you use that money wisely, there's no reason to think that we shouldn't be, top 6 minimum.
Yeah. I very much agree with that statement, Manny. This was just more on, I think, I don't know, there seems to be like a negative statement about many people thinking about like Wrexham. I think maybe people need to realize how big Wrexham are because of the storytelling they have, right? I'm just saying there are definitely players who would choose Wrexham currently over someone like Leicester and the other promoted teams. But we are still one of the most attractive possibilities to join in the Championship, and no doubt about it, because you can what you can achieve with Leicester. But so much depends as well on the manager, how our manager is able to sell the club to them, where is the plan, what is the system. And I think the big differential will be Seagrave versus whatever muddy pitch they train on in Wrexham.
Yeah. What if Twatface is still? Yeah, we'll have to see about that. Okay, that's the end of the show. 1 hour 40. Crazy. Right. Thanks to everybody who's been getting their comments in. Much appreciated. Thanks to all the people who've hit the like button, hit subscribe. Make sure to still do that if you haven't already. Thanks to all the callers. Big shout out to you guys. Hopefully you'll be back next Monday.
Just before I go, I've got a quick question for you. Like, we're going Championship. When are you getting Ryan Reynolds and Rob, what's his name, on the show?
Hey, look, I'll send an email.
You got some Hollywood contacts.
Send an email. We need
some Hollywood contacts.
We need to get on Welcome to Wrexham, by the way, guys. When they're
there was a fan channel that was on Welcome to Wrexham.
You know they'll do a big part about it in the documentary.
Which shirt would you wear? Would you wear the Leicester shirt? Or would you wear your Chelsea shirt?
Oh, you're such a fucking dick, man. You're our local grandpa here, bro. Go to the retirement home, man. You need to go to sleep. It's past your bedtime. We're saying
that. They might prefer to get on Jamie or Reedy instead. Maybe they might prefer than us.
I think Welcome to Wrexham. Give us a call, Ryan Reynolds. You know where to find us. We know they'll make a big part about it in that documentary. You know they'll be like, Leicester, 10 years ago they lifted the Premier League, and now little old Wrexham are going to play against them. Here's what local Grandpa Manny from BTG has to say about it. Fast twitch diapers, I'm Coley down the wing.
No, none of that. What we'll do is when they come to Leicester for the home game at our place, take them to the hottest curry house in town. And just for some cultural awareness, and we'll give him the heavy vindaloo and some starting peppers, and we'll soften him up for the game the next day. That's my tactic.
There we go. Right. Okay, that is the end of the stream. Thanks to everybody. Much appreciated. We will see you very soon.
We haven't done caller of the day, actually.
Caller of the day is...
I want to say Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
You know who we... Oh yeah,
first
time caller.
I was going to give it to Manny. I was going to give it to Manny.
No. Don't give it to Manny, man. Don't lose his ego more than it already is, man. It's already.
It's Mark. It's Mark. Caller of the day is
Skip
Mark.
Lover.
Right.
Skip
that's true. Actually, Ryan Reynolds could play Vardy.
Imagine if his name was Oliver Skipson and he came from Copenhagen. How much you would love him.
I would not have loved him as much. If you gave him Copenhagen Youth Academy, be twerking for him to stay next season.
I shouldn't have started that, should I?
Right. Make sure to hit the like button, make sure to hit subscribe, and remember, Victor Christensen is shit.